Introduction of Outgrowing God book summary. Ever wondered why people cling so tightly to rituals and celebrations even in our modern world? This video summary dives into a fascinating perspective that challenges the long-held belief in gods. You'll explore how common religious practices, from Christmas and Hanukkah to Diwali and Ramadan, shape our lives, and why some argue they should be left behind. The discussion uses simple, clear ideas to examine the role of faith and scientific thinking in questioning ancient traditions. Stick with us to learn how this unique approach deconstructs familiar religious arguments, offering a fresh view on why and how these beliefs persist today. You'll gain insights into the clash between age-old rituals and modern science, sparking new questions about our world. Listen till the end of the book summary. This video, including its audio and script, is protected by copyright. Unauthorized reproduction, distribution, or piracy is strictly prohibited and may result in legal action. Welcome to Religion and Spirituality English Book Summary, Episode 4. In this episode, we'll explore 2019 published book Outgrowing God, written by Richard Dawkins. The full title of the book is Outgrowing God, A Beginner's Guide. Chapter 1 of Outgrowing God book summary. Mystery of belief. Have you ever wondered why people believe what they do? Imagine if your faith was just an accident of birth. Think about it. You believe in a God because you were born in a place and time that taught you to. God is seen as amazing. He is all-seeing, all-knowing, and all-powerful. Many call him a superhero among gods. Yet if he is so incredible, why is he only one among thousands? Throughout history, people have worshipped many gods. The Vikings believed in many gods. They had Wotan as their main god, and Thor, the god of thunder, with his mighty hammer. They also honored Snotra, the goddess of wisdom. The Greeks had their own set of gods. Zeus ruled as king, Aphrodite spread love, and Poseidon ruled the sea. Even if you combine these gods with the god of Judaism, Christianity, and Islam, they are just a small part of the many gods people have worshipped. Many indigenous African groups have sun gods like Anyanwu, Mawu, and Ngai. In Australia, Aboriginal people honored sun gods such as Bila, Wala, and Karua. It seems clear that what you believe in depends on when and where you are born. If you were born in Viking times, you might have followed Wotan and Thor. In Australia, you might have looked to a sun god for guidance. This book makes us question a deep idea. It asks us if we can be sure our own God is the one true God. It challenges the truth of the holy books of today. Their origins are full of questions and doubts. Stay with us as we explore these ideas further. This journey may change the way you see faith and history. Chapter 2 of Outgrowing God book summary. Challenging old stories. Have you ever thought about how true the holy books really are? Imagine a game of telephone. One person whispers a story to the next. The story changes with every whisper. By the end, it sounds very different. This is how many holy books were made. They were passed down by word of mouth for decades and even centuries. That makes them hard to trust. Look at the New Testament. It is a core part of the Christian Bible. It has 4 Gospels: Matthew, Mark, Luke, and John. The oldest Gospel, Mark, was written 35 to 40 years after Jesus died. Think about that gap. Many things could have changed over 4 decades. And that is just one part of the Bible. The Old Testament, which comes from the Tanakh, is also not free from doubt. It was written centuries after the events it describes. There is little archaeological or historical evidence to back up its stories. For example, the Old Testament talks about the Jewish people being held captive in Egypt. But so far, no evidence has been found to show that this ever happened. There are other mistakes too. The Old Testament says that the prophet Abraham owned camels. Yet we know from history that camels were not domesticated until long after Abraham's time. These small errors add up. They suggest that the holy books, including the Bible, may not be true records of history. When the stories in these books have changed, like in a game of telephone, why should we trust them? If the facts are not reliable, can they really prove the existence of God? This book challenges us to question what we have been told about faith and history. Stick around as we dive deeper into these ideas. Chapter 3 of Outgrowing God book summary. A grim lesson. Imagine coming home from school and finding your dad waiting. He tells you to join him for a bonfire. You love bonfires, so you quickly agree. But once all the wood is ready, something shocking happens. Your dad picks you up and throws you on the firewood. It is like he wants to barbecue you because he believes God told him to. This story is similar to the biblical tale of Abraham and his near sacrifice of his son. Think about it. If you were the child about to be sacrificed, would you feel safe? A loving figure should protect you. But a God who asks someone to test their love by sacrificing their own child seems very cruel. In Abraham's case, God stopped the sacrifice at the last moment. That might sound like mercy, but it does not mean that God is always kind. Another story tells us about Jephthah, an Israelite general who needed help to win a battle. He promised that if God helped him defeat his enemies, he would offer up the first person he saw at home. After the victory, his daughter was the first to greet him. Jephthah was forced to keep his promise. God did not stop this tragic act. The stories do not end here. In other parts of the book, there are instructions for harsh wars. God urged the Israelites to fight for a piece of land, now known as Israel. He ordered them to wipe out entire tribes. Men, women, and even children were not spared. Some of the people were treated very badly. These tales make us wonder if this is the kind of guide we should follow. Maybe we should look for a role model who shows love and protection instead of cruelty and harsh tests. Chapter 4 of Outgrowing God book summary. Changing morals. Have you ever wondered why what we think is right today may have been seen as wrong long ago? Our sense of right and wrong changes over time. Not long ago, people could own other people. They went to the market and bought slaves. This practice was seen as normal. Today, slavery is considered very wrong. Women also did not have equal rights until very recently. In Britain, women got equal voting rights in 1928. In Switzerland, this happened in 1971. Some places like Saudi Arabia only granted these rights in the last few years. Religion was often used to justify these unfair practices. Some holy books show views that can be very problematic. For example, in the Bible, one command says, "You should not covet your neighbor's wife or servants." This makes them seem like things you can own. The Quran also has passages that put women in a lower position than men. This is one reason why in some Muslim countries like Saudi Arabia, women still face many restrictions. Our morals are not fixed. They change as society grows and learns. If we had to follow the rules from old holy books like the Bible and the Quran, we might still be doing things we now see as terrible. We would treat women as property and hurt innocent people. Even events like the Holocaust remind us of the harm done when old prejudices are left unchallenged. Adolf Hitler built on centuries of bias that were found in some parts of Christian teaching. Today, most people agree that hurting others is wrong. We rely on our own reason and empathy to decide what is moral. This shows that the true guide to being moral comes from within us, not from old texts. Chapter 5 of Outgrowing God book summary. Building life. Have you ever wondered how living things come to be? Many imagine a master builder up in the sky. This idea is like building a house from a blueprint. An architect draws a plan and workers follow it to build a house. But nature works in a very different way. Think of a termite mound. It is a complex structure with chimney-like towers and strange shapes. No termite sits with a big plan and tells everyone what to do. Instead, each termite follows a few simple rules. If one sees a pile of mud in a certain shape, It adds a little more. Soon, a great mound appears. This is called bottom-up design. It is built piece by piece with each part following a simple rule. Living things grow in a similar way. There is no master plan from above. Instead, life begins with DNA. DNA is a special code made of tiny molecules. It holds instructions for making every part of a living organism. When you were a baby, you started as one single cell. This cell had a set of instructions inside its DNA. It split into 2 cells. Then each of those cells split again. Soon many cells formed your body. This process is simple. Each cell follows the same small set of instructions. There is no grand design. Yet the result is a living, breathing human being. Every creature, from the smallest bug to the largest animal, is built in this bottom-up way. The idea that a God sat above and designed every detail does not match how life actually works. In the end, nature shows us that life grows from simple beginnings. Just like a termite mound, life builds itself from many small parts. And that is what makes life so wonderfully unpredictable and amazing. Chapter 6 of Outgrowing God book summary. Adapting to life. Have you ever wondered how living things change to fit their surroundings? Just like you put on a warm sweater, when it's cold, creatures in nature adjust to survive. They face different challenges and over time they learn to adapt. This process is called evolution. Think about fish living on the seafloor. Some flat-bodied fish like skates and rays lie parallel to the ground with their bellies down. Other fish such as flounder, plaice and sole lie in a different way. Their bodies turn so that they are perpendicular to the seafloor. At first, this created a problem. One of their eyes ended up looking at the ground. This made it hard for them to see dangers above. But over many generations, these fish changed. Their skulls twisted and shifted. Now both eyes face upward. This change helped them survive better. Their bodies tell us a story of change over time. They show that these fish started out as different creatures. Their ancestors swam upright or flat. Their body shapes changed as they adapted to life on the bottom of the sea. This change is not random. It is a natural process that happens over thousands and millions of years. Charles Darwin, a naturalist from the mid-19th century, first explained this idea. He showed that life changes slowly as organisms adapt to their surroundings. It is not the work of a master designer, but the result of many small changes that add up over time. Each twist and turn in an animal's body shows a part of its history. When you look at a flounder's eyes, you can see how it solved a problem. It tells us that nature can shape life in surprising ways. Evolution is the ongoing process of adapting and changing. It shows us that life is a constant work in progress. Chapter 7 of Outgrowing God book summary. Amazing cheetahs. Have you ever wondered how a cheetah came to be so perfect for hunting? Think about the beauty of nature and the hard work behind every living creature. Nature works in mysterious ways. Many people believe that such amazing animals must have been designed by a powerful creator. But there is another way to see it. This idea comes from natural selection. Imagine watching a cheetah sprint after its prey. The cheetah is strong and graceful. It might seem that someone carefully planned its every detail. However, nature tells a different story. According to the book by Charles Darwin, small changes over time help create these wonderful animals. One tiny change at a time can make a big difference. Picture a baby cheetah born with slightly longer claws. It is a small mutation in its genes. This change happened by chance. The cheetah is still very much a cheetah. But its slightly longer claws give it a small edge when it runs after prey. The cheetah can hold the ground better. Because of this small advantage, it has a better chance to survive. it is more likely to grow up and have cubs. Those cubs will inherit the same useful trait. Even though many changes in nature can be harmful, some of them make life better. When a change helps an animal survive, it passes on that gene. This slow process happening over many generations leads to the amazing creatures we see today. So the next time you see a cheetah, remember the quiet power of tiny random changes. It is not the work of a grand design, but the patient process of natural selection that shapes life. Let the story of the cheetah remind you of the wonder in even the smallest details of nature. Chapter 8 of Outgrowing God Book Summary. Superstitions Evolved. Have you ever wondered why we sometimes believe in strange signs? Imagine being an early human on the African plains. You are searching for food when you hear the grass rustle. It might be just the wind. It might be a lion waiting to pounce. In that moment, you would likely run. This careful instinct helped our ancestors stay safe. Our minds are built to see patterns. This skill helped them spot dangers in nature. They learned to react quickly. Over time, this habit was passed down through natural selection. Slowly, our brains started seeing links between events that were not really connected. For example, a sick child might get better after a bull was sacrificed. Parents noticed this timing. They believed the bull's death had cured their child. Soon, many people began to think that such actions could change fate. This was the start of a superstitious practice. Sacrifice, prayer, and other rituals grew from this need to make sense of the unknown. It is not just humans who fall into this trap. Even pigeons show similar behavior. Psychologist B.F. Skinner did an experiment with 8 pigeons. An apparatus dropped food at random times. 6 pigeons began to repeat certain actions. One bird would lift its head. Another made pecking movements. They thought these actions brought food. We as humans are much more complex and thoughtful. However, our ancient habit of finding patterns still lingers. This idea is discussed in the book summary of Outgrowing God by Richard Dawkins. It shows us that our need for meaning might be a byproduct of evolution. So next time you feel drawn to a superstition, remember, it might just be your old brain working hard to protect you. Conclusion of Outgrowing God Book Summary. Reflect and learn. In this book summary, you learn that there is no need to believe in God when the evidence shows He does not exist. You discovered that God is not an example we should follow. Instead, our minds are built to be superstitious. This trait helped our ancestors survive in a dangerous world. But now we have grown smarter. We can see that the idea of a divine being is just an illusion. The summary showed us that evolution explains the complex world around us. It tells us that even the smallest living things, like bacteria, have evolved over time. We are a great example of this process. When you face something you do not understand, trust in science. The laws of biology, physics, and chemistry have already explained many mysteries of life. They helped us understand how we came from single-celled organisms to the complex beings we are today. Remember, our ancient habit of believing in patterns led to superstition. That same habit made us think there was a divine plan. But now we know that science offers better answers. Your feedback is very important. Let us know your thoughts in the comments. Listen to the other book summary. Disclaimer, please check the description. Any digital copy of this content that is shared through piracy or downloaded without permission or uploaded on any online social media platform will be considered a clear violation of copyright law. Piracy is a serious offense and strict legal action will be taken against it. Additionally, copyright infringement may result in a strike against your YouTube channel or page, and it could even be deleted. Therefore, please do not engage in piracy or support it. This content has been created based on the references from the mentioned book. However, it may contain some unintentional errors or inconsistencies due to human or mechanical mistakes. If you notice any mistakes or inconsistencies, please accept our apologies and inform us through a comment or message. If you enjoy this book summary and wish to gain complete knowledge of the book, then please consider purchasing the book from an online or offline bookstore and reading it. Thank you.